Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mary, please. And I see that you've got, you're speaking for yourself and the Victorian Neighbourhood Association, so you've got...
For my sins, yes. Yes.
That's right, far away.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm a little different perhaps to the previous couple of speakers in that I'm not representing an organisation, don't have an infographic or particular material, but I guess I was urged to come and speak personally because I feel very strongly that the Christchurch Arts Centre needs to continue to receive funding from the council. Certainly it needs to have a plan to ensure that it is sustainable into the future. It's a unique hub for Christchurch and really a jewel in the crown. I only moved back to Christchurch, had some of my childhood here, moved back just 2 years ago, and it's become a central place for people. It's full of activities and cinemas and wine bars, and great for international visitors and for local people. I think it's trying hard to be as commercial as it can, but it has some unique constraints or hurdles to jump with its very high insurance premiums, for instance, being the historic centre that it is. So I just really wanted to, and everyone I know feels this way that I've spoken to, that it needs to continue to receive support from the council to make sure that it can continue to be such a good place for Christchurch. There aren't many other places yet. The square doesn't offer much yet. There's the hub around Cashel Mall and the riverfront there, but really as much as anywhere, the Arts Centre is the soul of Christchurch. So that was the main thing I wanted to say. Now I will cover some points that the Victorian Neighbourhood Association, of which I'm part of the committee now, have asked me to cover. So there are 182 financial members in the Victorian Neighbourhood Association. It covers the blocks between Beeley and Salisbury and from Montreal Street through to Colombo Street. Interestingly, their top issue is the lack of a hop-on, hop-off type bus, and they urge the council to look into the reinstatement of the shuttle. There are many people, I believe, who are inclined to get in their car and drive away from the city because it's easier for them to get access than to go into the city and use the city facilities. They also urge the council not to charge for parking in the Botanic Gardens, feel that will be a constraint, particularly on the less financially able. So those were key points. The support for the city vacant differential, and there's an encouragement for the council to extend that to residential. There's so much unhosted short-term accommodation now proliferating in the CBD. It's difficult for people who live in the street to know who their neighbours are anymore because they're changing all the time. And there's good support for the cycleways, in particular thanks for the Park Terrace one. And suggestion that you bring forward, yes, to bringing forward the funding to grasp the climate risks, that's important. So that's me, really.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, please? Yanni.
Thank you for your submission. I've had a number of submitters say that not only should we increase the parking charges in the inner city as well as the Hagley Park and Botanic Gardens, but that we should also introduce it at other places. For example, Margaret Mahy Playground and maybe other sports places. Do you? I just note that you've mentioned sort of the concern around car parking. I was just kind of interested if you would also be concerned if we did start introducing higher parking charges and more parking charges at other places currently where people can park.
I think if you connected that up with something like a shuttle service, that people actually could more easily get around town without bringing their car into town and charged more for parking, that would go hand in hand. That would be okay. People would have, they couldn't say, oh, but there's no other way for me to get there, and you're putting up the charges. Of course, there'll be pushback, but I think a connected up sort of strategy like that would be reasonable. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mary. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Okie doke. Timothy, please.